Hi, I am Rabbi Jessica Spatelnik-Mates, and I want to start with a story from my family that maybe will help contextualize tonight. Because it's so random. It's June 1st. It's my first night with you. It's like one of the most important nights on the Jewish calendar, the holiday of Shavuot. It's a lot. And so I wanted to share a little story. So if you've been to the Lincoln Memorial in D.C., then you know there's a lot of stairs, way more stairs than here to climb up. And my parents are here, we always took educational vacations. And we were in D.C. a lot. And my husband's from D.C., and he had been to the Lincoln Memorial quite a bit, but his daughters, my stepdaughters, had never been. So a few months after we started dating, we were going to the Lincoln Memorial. And I was like, I can't wait to see his daughters see the Lincoln Memorial for the first time. How many of you have seen the Lincoln Memorial? Oh, like, right. So it's so majestic. I love Chesterwood, I think, where they made the model, and the Berkshires. I love the Lincoln Memorial. And so Mitch has two girls, and one of them, Rachel, was ahead of the other one. And so I'm keeping in step with her, like both looking at the steps and also looking up to see when we'll first see Abe Lincoln, to see her see it for the first time. And she's ahead of her sister and my daughter, and we're probably like 3/4 of the way up, and I look up and I see Abe Lincoln, and I can't wait to see what she has to say about seeing Abe Lincoln for this first time. So I say, Rachel, look, there's the Lincoln Memorial. And she goes, oh. Not like, like, oh, literally, like, that's it. That's all. Mitch is here. He can testify. Like, that's all. And so I realized that's kind of similar tonight. We have steps here, just not as many as up to the Lincoln Memorial. And I'm so excited to be here. And some of you might be like, oh. And some of you might be like, oh. And some of you might be like, oh. I don't really know what's coming. And so I'm excited to be here. And I'm honored to be here. And thank you. Thank you. I really mean that. And before I go forward, I really have to acknowledge the people that helped get me here. First of all, the staff is incredible, from the musical staff to the staff at the temple and the lay leadership, from the president, Lois, the co-chairs of my search committee, Sue and Marion, and everyone. I fell in love. I really have said it again and again, not only with the beautiful Longboat Key area in Sarasota, but with your people and your building. And I'm really honored and excited to be here. Whether you're O or O, I'm here, and I'm really excited to be here. But what's funny about this story is this holiday of Shavuot actually identifies very much with the Jewish people. Because the night that Torah was to be given, the day was very long, and the children of Israel were very, very tired. And so they actually started falling asleep even as God was preparing to give them the Torah at Mount Sinai, which Shavuot celebrates. They're kind of like, oh. And they were so sleepy, they dozed off, and God was so angry and upset about this that God had so much thunder and lightning happen. And the legacy of that is on Shavuot, we do services later. This is 2 hours later than the regular Friday here. Some people stay up all night. I've already met some people with family in Israel. My friend Aaron from Israel is with us, and there'll be people up all night in Israel studying for Shavuot. And they also, like my stepdaughter, were like, oh, we're getting Torah. And God wanted them to be excited about getting Torah, and that they could really, really engage with Torah and the Jewish people. And that's the way it is sometimes, that some of us are excited and thrilled, and others of us are like, I'm not sure what's coming my way. Any transition, any change is difficult and complicated. But I'm excited to be here, and I'm honored to be here. And I'm very, very looking forward to being part of this synagogue, and so appreciative. Another big change that just went on in my life is my daughter just graduated a couple weeks ago from the University of Florida in architecture, yes. And the thing, Florida, if you had children or grandchildren that went to Florida schools, they're very reasonable, especially if they want Bright Futures or prepay. But being an architecture student, you have to buy so much stuff. You have to buy materials, you have to buy certain desks and special chairs because you're in studio all the time, day and night. But the weirdest thing you have to buy is bundles of sticks. You all the time on my Amazon, I would see there were bundles and bundles of sticks that she was ordering. Why? Because they're constructing all those diagrams and models that you see. And as I was preparing for tonight, I came across this reading that we'll read together in a second. You'll find in your service booklet that is actually about bundles of sticks and reflects really, really, really what I hope for us and this congregation, that we come together, that we acknowledge that we have many different stairways up to this bima, many different pathways to Longboat Key, to the area, but now tonight we are coming together. And so I hope you will join me in your beautiful service booklet that you have on your, and then I have as well, I think somewhere in my hand here. If you'll look in the service booklet on the 3rd page, and if you'll read to me, hopefully reflecting the sentiment of what we feel tonight, at the top of the 3rd page together. From the Maasai tribe in Africa, sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. Sticks alone can be broken by a child. We all need to be part of a group where we protect each other and care for each other and are bundled up with each other. Alone we are lost. Get bundled. Hag Sameach, and thank you for welcoming me so much tonight. And now it is a pleasure to really, the woman who has been such a part of this journey of my arriving at the synagogue, our temple president, Lois Bars.
Thank you, Rabbi Mates. Good evening. On behalf of our executive committee, our board of directors, our auxiliary presidents, our executive director, Isaac Azarad, our Longboat Key Education Center director, Susan Goldfarb, our choir director, Dr. Ann Stevenson-Moe, our soloist, Key Suley, and all of our TBI staff, it is my honor to welcome Rabbi Jessica Splatonik Mates to Temple Beth Israel.
Thank you.
Welcome to all of you, as I often say, here in the sanctuary, and to all of the people who are live streaming. Last look early on, we had about 9 or 10, I think. I believe we will have more. We have more, okay. Welcome to our Erev Shavuot program. Our guest speaker this evening, active reserve duty soldier Aaron Rose, about whom you will learn more shortly. We also would like to welcome to our congregation Mitch Mates, our rabbi's husband. Mitch, where are you? Raise your hand. There he is, up here. We look forward to your engagement with us here at Temple Beth Israel in any and all of the many activities in addition to all of our worship services. And in what we hope will be the first of many visits, we are extremely honored this evening to welcome Rabbi Jessica's parents, Madeline and Robert Spitalnik. Raise their hands over here. Also joining Rabbi Jessica and her parents this evening on this very special occasion are cousins Dan Kopf and Louise Kopf. Hands over there. And a very special friend who has come to be with us, special friend of the rabbis, Tracy Kosurik. Did I say it right? Okay. Rabbi Mates comes to us with extensive congregational work. You've read some of this, I know, in the past weeks. She was assistant rabbi about 26 years ago for just a few years, and then for 21 years, an associate rabbi at Temple Beth El in Boca Raton. Recently, she was interim rabbi at Temple Emmanuel in Andover, Massachusetts, where, in all those strange things that go on, I actually watched her on Zoom, sometimes lifetime and sometimes afterwards, because the service was at 6:30, for almost her whole 6 months there. It's the congregation of my birth. And I just happened to be going back and forth. And only in the last 5 years have I not actually been in that building several times a year. So it was rather amazing. I felt a connection to her before I even had the pleasure of meeting her. Immediately after our congregational confirmation of Rabbi Jessica's appointment several months ago, Rabbi reached out to our congregation with an insightful letter, thanking us for our faith in her and providing a vision for our future together. That letter was sent to all of you in an e-blast, and I sincerely hope you read it and perhaps shared it, as I often do, with friends and family who are not here on Longboat Key. In the weeks and months since then, we, Rabbi Mates and I, have met several times in person, spoken via phone, Zoom, and of course exchanged many emails. Every one of these meetings and exchanges has been fruitful, certainly to me, and I hope to you. They are continuing today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. Most importantly, in the last several weeks, Rabbi Mates has begun a very important mission for her. She has already made personal contact with many of our members, and this is something she will continue to do throughout the summer. This is one time in the weeks and maybe 2 months ahead when answering an unknown phone number is something you should do. For those of us who might have missed it, the May 29th Longboat Key Observer devoted its feature Neighbors article to our rabbi. There are several copies of the Observer in the lobby and a bunch more at the back table. Maybe they won't be here by the end of the evening. Oops, hang on one second here. Finally, we hope you will join us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock when Rabbi Mates will lead us in our Shavuot service, followed by Yisker and a holiday cafe. Our regular services next weekend are, as always, 5:30 on Friday, June 6th, and 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 7th. Also, please call the office on Tuesday if you wish to join our BIW luncheon, Monday, June 16th, or the Men's Club dinner, June 18th. The information there is on our website and in our e-blast. Once again, please join me in welcoming Rabbi Mates.
Thank you so much, Lois. In the spirit of welcoming, I'd like to have you all take a moment to turn to your neighbors, to those around you, wish them a Chag Sameach, a happy holiday, and give them words of welcome as well. Thank you. As we stand here on Shavuot, a time of new beginnings for the Jewish people, slavery of Egypt is left behind, and the ability to have Torah as they go forward, I want to share with you a tale of 3 sets of twins and of 3 Torahs. I mentioned earlier my daughter Shira and my stepdaughter Rachel. There are 2 more kids in my family. My son Noah, who is 25, and my stepdaughter, Brianna. My kids are 22 and 25, but Rachel and Brianna are both exactly 19 years old. They are twins. Coming in as a stepmother to twins is odd. I am connected to twins by periphery, and I enter into this unique space that I have dubbed Twin Space. It is the name of our internet, Twin Space. And anytime they want me to come into an argument they are having or settle something or figure out helping them to buy something, I tell them I am not entering the twin space. And so I have a certain affinity for twins because of my stepdaughters. And so on this night, as you will hear from Aaron in a little bit, as we set this Shavuot in the context of October 7th, I think of a twin who is still in captivity, Nimrod Cohen, and was told that Sue here tonight just had her step-grandson released a few weeks ago, which we are so grateful for her, and I'm so thankful for her sharing that story. Nimrod Cohen is still held captive, and his parents are campaigning for his loss. And I can't imagine understanding twins a little better now that I do, what it is like for one twin to be free and one to be captive. The third set of twins I want to tell you about is how my friend Aaron Rose came into my life. I've always been active in causes related to Israel, and a few years ago engaged with a program called Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is a program that takes Israeli soldiers that have been through particularly violent, tough, or difficult battle, and a few years after their service brings them over as a unit with therapists to have therapy during the day out of Israel, and at the night to have fun and enjoy. The unit that Aaron currently is one of the units that came to my synagogue through this program, Peace of Mind. There was a twin in that unit as well, and his name was Sor Golden. But in the most painful of circumstances, even more painful than Nimrod Cohen, for whom there is still hope of being alive, Sor Golden's twin had been killed by Hamas. His body is still in captivity, and all around the world, and especially in Israel, people pray for the release of the body of Hadar Golden. You may even hear from time to time in hostage negotiations that bringing back Hadar's body is one of the points that Israelis are trying to use as a place of negotiation. I bring this up all tonight because I think these three sets of twins illustrate how diverse our lives are. My stepdaughter twins live in America, college students in peace and freedom, and enjoy boys and makeup and going out. They study some, not enough probably, but they hopefully will study more, right, Mitch? We'll work on that. But they have a beautiful life. And then you have Nimrod Cohen's family sitting as one of these hostage families, knowing every day leads us further and further away from potential release. And then Sor Golden and his family's pain in knowing they just want to lay their brother to rest in the Holy Land, in the land of Israel. And so those are the three sets of twins that come to mind this night of Shavuot. But I also want to talk about three Torahs on this night of Shavuot as I come to you on this night. First of all, there is the Torah of Shavuot, this very holiday. It is the night that we celebrate the giving of Torah to the Jewish people. It is a night of celebration. It is a night of dairy because Torah is supposed to nourish us like the milk and honey of the land of Israel. It is viewed that each of us in every generation was present in that moment of Shavuot, and we are receivers of the transmission of that Torah. We, in our own time and in our way, have to figure out how to make Torah our own. There's a passage that we read at the high holidays in one of the Torah portions that says, do not say that this Torah, this word, is so far that it is across the sea or far away in the heavens that you cannot get to it. No, it is very much in your heart and in your soul. And that is one of my goals with here, to remind you that Torah is here in our heart, in our soul. This bima, which duplicates Mount Sinai where Torah was given, that Hebrew is attainable, that Jewish learning is lovable, and that what happens in this synagogue every day that I've had the privilege of watching for these last months is truly the embodiment of Torah in a way that is very close, and you are living it here. The second Torah that I want to talk about is the Torah of Longboat Key. There was a calendar meeting a few weeks ago, and they suggested doing something in Sarasota, and someone whispered to the other, she has no idea of what happens with traffic in season. Well, I learned the Torah of Longboat Key after having dinner with Mitch and my daughter Shira at Rabbi Peter and Sheila Kasdan's house last Sunday, and there was an accident. If you remember, it was Memorial Day weekend, and we, at the end of May, not season, were stuck right before St. Armand's Circle for an hour. I have learned the Torah of Longboat Key, and it is traffic, but it is also beauty. And Sue told me I would be addicted to walking across the Ringling Bridge And sure enough, every day I've been in town, I've wanted to walk across that bridge, even in rain, as I did this morning. And so I am learning the Torah of Longboat Key, the Torah of Sarasota, being on the west coast of Florida. But I got my real taste of standing at the Sinai of Longboat Key in that traffic last Sunday night. I have an idea now, and I hear you, and I get it. The third Torah I want to mention is the Torah of Israel. If you remember, Moses never made it into the land of Israel, but we did. We are able to visit there. The children of Israel after him, led by Joshua, made it into the land of Israel. And the Torah of Israel is something that has guided my life. But I haven't been to Israel since 2019, and certainly not since October 7th. And my Torah of Israel was feeling farther and farther and farther away until a young man, Aaron, who you'll meet in a little while later this evening, came into my life. And it made me realize that just as we experienced the Torah of Sinai here on this bima, and just as I experienced the Torah of Longboat Key here on this island, we can experience the Torah of Israel even here in our community. And that is why I have brought Aaron here with you tonight. For that article that was in the press, I love journalism, and I did journalism in college, and I was speaking to the reporter, and I said I never want to bury the lead. And the lead in my life is Israel. I was a tour guide there, I lived there, I returned there, I had fellowships there, I love it so dearly. And I wondered, how could I start with you on my first night, this auspicious night of Shavuot, and not bring my Israel of recent years here? And so you will see that with Aaron. So with all these Torahs, how did Moses go forward from this moment? How did he know on that night of Shavuot, when Torah was first given, that these sleepy Israelites would be strong and sure enough to carry it on? He wasn't totally sure, but he had faith in one of the children of Israel, and that was Joshua. When Moses was going to pass the leadership of the Jewish people to Joshua, he said two words that seem in conflict and that we live them, yet we live them both. Hazak va'amatz, be strong and courageous. Hazak or chozek is the external strength, the fortitude to go forward in difficult times. And you have had a difficult year with 2 hurricanes, with lots of transition, and yet you are strong and sure. But amatz is the internal strength. Ometz lev is the courage that lies inside of our heart. How can we balance these two competing emotions? How can we be both strong and courageous? How can we honor our past and also go forward? How can we rejoice on Shavuot when there is an October 7th that has not yet ended? Well, here we will try. Ami Kahana, who lived on Kibbutz Kfar Aza and was overseas when the kibbutz was invaded on October 7th, has studied what kibbutz life has been like since October 7th, where life was shattered at Kfar Aza. And he realized there are so many different push and pulls that are going on. There are people that lived on the kibbutz that had changed from that old model of kibbutz we know as collective living to more of a business model. But now they had to come back together collectively to figure out how to go forward. And there was the struggle between the people who know the life on the kibbutz and what they lived through on October 7th, and all the external administrators and therapists and those who are unfamiliar with Kfar Aza, who are trying to help them heal. And more close to home, perhaps for some of us, is the push and pull that we have that exists in Judaism. That at Sinai, we were given something so beautiful, and yet again and again and again, people have tried to destroy the beauty of the Jewish people. Only a few weeks earlier in Washington, D.C., outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. But that is how we live as a people, with twin sentiments, doing two things at once in the same way that you can walk and breathe. We as Jewish people can do things as once. We can live the chazak, the strength, be called to be a big thinker, to be visionary, to figure out how we can go forward from this auspicious night to go to a higher, beautiful, even more better place and accomplishment. and always doing more and being better. But this is where the amatz comes into play. Amatz describes the ability to look back and appreciate. I'm so honored that Rabbi Emeritus Michael Eisenstadt is here on this evening for my first night, because I honor the past of this synagogue and all the rabbis that have served here on the Bima, and even more that we want to accomplish going forward. The combination of chazak and amatz, be strong and courageous, is the key to striving to have this eternal strength to go forward. But in case that is too serious, let's turn to the New York Knicks, who has given us a lot of emotions this week as well. I was just up in New York with my dad until yesterday for his 70th high school reunion from Bronx High School of Science. And the city was abuzz with the potential of a Knicks victory. That's over. As the Time had written, we just don't know what the Knicks will do to us. The Times wrote, it's a double helix of joy and despair woven together. There's any joy at all that there is a glorious change, that the Knicks have overdosed on despair for the last 25 years. They've had an intoxicating runs for weeks now, and blue and orange caps are sprouting up on the city sidewalks like spring flowers. But this Knicks team is also deeply maddening and will be groaning for years about a fourth quarter where they fell asleep on the court and gave up. Joy and despair woven together, whether it's for the Knicks or the synagogue or the Jewish people or where we live. If we really treat today as if we are standing at Sinai again, we know that we can go forward to joy and to beauty and to hope and to receive a new chapter of Torah for our congregation. So think about it for yourselves for a moment. If you were to come up with one word that describes what you hope for this new chapter of this congregation, Temple Beth Israel, think of it right now. Whisper it softly to yourself, those who are online and those who are in this synagogue. As we receive a new chapter of Torah for our congregation, what word of blessing are you offering at this moment? Because this moment involves all of us. And so, as we think of all the blessings that we want, I hope that you know that I am dedicated to being with you in every moment, in every way, to bringing blessing to this synagogue, to figuring out the new Torah that we have together, to learning from you the Torah of this area of Florida, to learning about you and all your ties to where you have grown up, where you've gone in the world, and what brings you here on this day. And so I ask you at this time to join with me in a responsive reading that perhaps reflects most of all that the center of Torah on this night begins here in this room at this moment. The Mishkan is placed in the very center of the Israelite camp so that their lives revolve around God's presence, which is in their midst. And they are constantly looking forward to the Mishkan, to the divine cloud that hovers over it, to know whether they stay or move forward. By the word of God they encamped, and by the word of God they traveled forth. God and the Torah will now be the guide of their lives. Together, the very giving of Torah was the taking of Torah down from heaven and giving it to human beings. It was about bringing God and sanctity into the physical, concrete reality of this world. Torah is not just meant to be learned, it is meant to be lived. Torah must be a verb, not just a noun. The very day of receiving the Torah, this contains within it the mandate of moving forward from the foot of Mount Sinai and venturing into the new world. The famous Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will hear, derives its power from the Na'aseh that comes first. Together, receiving the Torah starts with knowing that it will and must translate into action, into a life. By the word of God they encamp, and by the word of God they venture forth. And yet, as we approach Shavuot, it is worth considering the importance of this, of our listening, of our understanding, our voice as well. I can't wait to hear your voices as we go forward together in chazak va'amatz, courage and strength. And now, at this time, I would like to invite forward Israel Committee Chair Arlene Levy to share some words and introduce our speaker.
Good evening. I'm taking the lower podium because I'm so short. But it's good to be with you, and I hear the challenge, Rabbi, as I talk about the Israel Committee. Rabbi Jessica asked me to talk about the Israel Committee, and what I would say right now is the Israel Committee at Temple Beth Israel finally has recovered from COVID. With new energy this past year, Merle Salzberg arranged for a live Jewish National Fund update from Israel on Zoom in December. Rabbi Simon gave talks on the war in Israel in January. Esther Garfinkel added her Israel information tidbits to the weekly e-blast in February. And in March, Rabbi Kasdan explained the significance of the World Zionist Congress in the 2025 election. And for the next 2 months, the committee encouraged our congregation to vote. We are now looking forward to November 16th when the organization Stand With Us will tell us about the work that they are doing in combating anti-Semitism in education from kindergarten to the college campus. And I will be in discussion with you, Rabbi. You're talking about going to Israel. I know that the congregation was thinking about a trip to Israel when COVID hit 5 years ago. We'll talk about that later, okay? But I'm getting ahead of myself. For now, let me introduce our special guest whom Rabbi Mates brought to us. Aaron Rose, born and raised in Jerusalem, rose to the elite Maglan unit in the Israel Defense Forces. After Aaron's initial service, he moved to the United States and co-founded a medical supply company. He has remained an active reservist and has been serving intermittently in Gaza during the October 7th war. And he mentioned to me earlier tonight he will be going back soon to serve again. Based in Miami, Aaron realized that there were many other Israeli veterans in the region and created the nonprofit Israeli Veterans Club. He is here to tell us about his life and this important organization he created. Aaron? There you go.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you all for inviting me inside your home, your community. Thank you, Rabbi Jessica. So, funny thing, actually, I just got engaged, and she's also a twin as well, out of all things. And it's also the same dichotomy that you're saying, because her twin brother was also served in the military, so it sort of, I guess, rekindles to everything herself that she said.
Here, I'm going to give
Yes.
you. Here, Aaron, use this. This might be better.
Hello?
Here,
Can you hear me better now?
here, use this.
Hello. So the thing that she actually didn't mention about the Peace of Mind journey of how she got to meet my team, because my team is Unit 10. We have one senior team, one younger team that are combined into one. The thing that she didn't mention, she actually organized that entire trip to get everyone over here. And until today, yes, there's the component of going out, but there's the other component of healing and therapy, that it's made a safe place in my unit, in my team until today for us to decompress, talk, and actually have. Because one of the most important things that we have in our life is community, which I'm sure you guys know since we're in your community place right now.
Aaron, hold it. Really.
Since we're in here in your community right now. So thank you, Rabbi Jessica, again, and from time to time. And she's not only your rabbi, she's also, well, she's not only your rabbi, but she's also ours. And I have to say, you are the luckiest community in the world to have her. And you'll even hear and understand why for more. So Maglan, the unit that I serve in, it's equivalent, I guess, to the Green Berets. Someone asked me what are my MOSs, what are my specialties in the Army. So I said, you know, I'll start off with that. I am a machine gunner, a sniper, camouflage expert, propeller extracting expert. We specialize inside also tunnels. Part of our thing is we know how to attack from ear, ground, Our training's pretty intensive. It's over a year and a half, and then another 4 months of just specialty, just so that we can be active combat and fighting force. Obviously, like most people, October 7th put me off in a surprise. I was over here, just like everyone else, sitting down, but I get a call on Saturday morning from a religious friend of mine, which was the most bizarre thing, because I know that he's observant. So obviously I answer. So he tells me, okay, Aaron, how are we getting back? I was like, what are you talking about? Obviously, in complete disbelief, not believing anything that he's telling me. Within 24 hours, sadly enough, I get news of a very close childhood friend of mine that was also at the Nova that he's not here. A different friend of mine, sadly enough, identified him. And from there, I tuck tail, drop back, and go back to join my team inside Israel. Since then, I've done already over 3 tours that I've been there, and combined over 250 days, twice in Gaza and 1 in Lebanon. I thought I'd share just a little. I have too many stories inside the war itself of the experiences that I've been through. But I just thought I'd tell just about a few days, and even those days I'm not going to get into too much detail, because I realize the big thing, no one actually knows what war is like. The day-to-day, what the tiredness. First, I want to say it's not something that we glorify. It's not something they want to do. We believe in love, peace. We're Jews after all. And do it. This time I went back not only because I had to, but out of love to try getting back our hostages, to try getting back our people, and just so that we could be proud as one Jewish nation. So I find myself, it's Hanukkah. I've been inside, I think, already for a little over a month and a half. That means no shower. I stink to high heaven, to say the least. One of the supply chains kept on getting hit. That meant also supply chains for us, because we run out of water, food that we need to get over, but also humanitarian aid that needs to get sent inside. So our mission for our team now, after intensive fighting for over a month and a half, is to take over this corridor, to make sure that it's clear so we stop getting rocket fires on there. But to get to that corridor, we have to go through this line of buildings that later on that there's storefronts there, and then there's a whole neighborhood, and then there's an open area for 300 meters, and then there's buildings. So we get inside, we start to clear, we're going inside the buildings itself, and we're clearing. In the building, we know that it's a militant's building once we get inside, because we find inside a kid's backpack, we find a bomb, and start seeing the Hamas flags. So we're cautious walking inside, but everything's pretty wrecked already. When going inside the room, suddenly, a rocket launcher, an RPG, goes directly inside the window that we're standing inside there. Next thing that happens is the second in the command of their entire platoon gets on. Does anyone know if Team 10 is alive? To that extent. We get on and say, yes, we're okay. We just exited that room. We only got shrapnel. We're okay. They know where we are. We don't know where they are. So we need to or evaluate our position or move. So we start moving to other side to make sure we're not we're more internal, not just external. And before you know it, another rocket launcher goes directly inside the same building we're inside. But that one, thank God, we were able to see where it came from. So we knew it came from those certain buildings. So we tried calling air support. It's too close. Anything that happened would have direct effect on us and other people in the area, so we can't do anything. We're getting out there. We start evacuating and get out of the building. While on our way out, third one. At this time, God's just saying, don't worry, you guys are okay. You're just going to get some scrapes on you today. And each time, whoever doesn't know an RPG, it goes up and down. So to have it accurately fly through a window, you have to be a hell of a marksman, to say the least. That entire week, every day was like just a graph of just actions and stuff that just became more and more. So we send another team to go check it out. They go over, they're gone, they're away. We see some residue, so we know there's a tunnel in the area. We don't know where, we don't know what, but we still have a mission to do, so we have to continue forward. So we continue forward, we're okay, we're all in one piece. The next following days escalated more and more to, I'm not gonna get into all the firefights or even some families that we found that we helped actually release. We finally got to the place we're supposed to get to. We're on this major intersection that we need to go over and control. While we're going inside that major intersection, instead of we go inside a building, you don't go through the front door. You have to take like an explosive and put it at the side and blow it up, and that's how you go inside a clear room and clear a unit. So while we're actually getting inside there to do that, to clear it out, suddenly someone just walks out the front door. Okay. They're usually after there, there's no one in there, because it's already after dropping pamphlets, evacuation, so we don't see him, we don't see a weapon, we don't feel in danger, so we stop him. And that's it, we just take him back we have someone else with us to question him to see, like, what are you doing in this area? This is very suspicious, to say the least. Yes, and because if not, you expect someone to walk out with a gun, right? So obviously, common sense would say he came out the front door. You could go in now. We didn't do that. After we set up the explosion, there wasn't one explosion. There wasn't a secondary. There was over 5 secondary explosions that happened. Turned out he just went out there because he booby-trapped it and hoped we'd go in the front door. Later on, it turns out that he's one of the people that perpetrated in October 7th, and he was one of the things. So we were able to arrest him and send him back to prison and to be tried for the crimes that he committed. Later on with all this, we figure out we get more advanced closer. We find people that shouldn't be there to the extent that we open up a humanitarian corridor, because that's it. Doesn't matter if there's other people who shot at you. No, that's whoever. I'm sure you guys already know. We first value life. It doesn't matter if there's going to be even a terrorist in the midst. We usually open it up to let everyone get out in the most peaceful surrounding way. After we do that, we start evacuating back to Eggsville Point, and that's sort of where the first place where we had rocket launchers shot at us. While getting out there, one of our guys gets sniper rifle fire directly at him. He gets shot in his behind. So we call in our other people to evacuate him from our secondary team. Our secondary team gets in sight. Other person gets sniper shot directly to where he has a grenade. New grenades, doesn't blow up. It's called Siman 2, second sample. Other one hits him over here in his armor. Nothing happens. Third one right above, where our team is less than 25 meters away. The first one's to make sure, handle, do what needs to be done to get him out. Get him out there within a few minutes. Evac, helicopter, sorry. And while there on the helicopter, he was declared dead. Danny Bilaharosh, a father of 3, life of energy, of party, of just the people and serenity. And I never met anyone that didn't have a good and positive thing to say about it. It's a very hard blow on that day for all of us. The day continued that on, and we actually even saw where the fire came from. So now we're going to go there, and we know that's the same one that shot the rockets, so we have to clear that building. My team gets in building A, other team gets in building B. While going up the building, suddenly we hear, this time it wasn't rocket fire. I thought it was a tank going off because it was so loud. Turns out the team right next to me went down, and they found the basement, and the second they went inside of it, they blew up an IED. 2 guys, whoever's ever seen a machine gun, a Negev, it's big, heavy, clanky, weighs over 20 pounds. It's strong metal. To the extent of how strong the explosion was, the gun looks like an accordion now. 2 guys, one of them was actually a Chabadnik, so he had a big beard completely burnt off. His shrapnel went through his entire vest, everything had to go. His commander is with him too, got shrapnel in his face, feet, but both are alive and well. Obviously, evacuating them out, and that's just a miniature of just a few days of what it is and how it is down. So, thank God, I have to say, that we had a space that we could talk and decompress, thanks to Rabbi Jessica. But even after that, when I came back for the first time in my life, I felt this whole. Anyone who knows me, I'm energetic, kind. I don't have a bad day because I'm alive. And I'm very thankful and grateful that I have my health and myself to have that day by day. When I came back, it wasn't the same. So I set out and looked for other people, just like me, the most selfish reasons of the world. I wanted other people to talk to. When I was in Israel, I had it with my team. I know what I had there, right? Big thanks because of the rabbi, I know what I had, right? So because of that, I started to look to find other people here. I went out, Facebook group, WhatsApp groups, made a post, and said, hey, anyone who's back here from Iron Swords, let's meet up. 14 guys that I never met showed up. Yeah, first time ever. And I was like, okay, then it's not just me. There's other people here. I'm not the person who just dropped his entire life, dropped everything, and to just go back and do it. Today, we're over 115 guys that all actually live here in South Florida, that all dropped everything to go back and fight. And week by week, we'd meet up, we'd do Shabbats. The amount of time, the rabbi came over not only to enlighten us and make us, but to make sure that we have that same thing, that source, that community. She was just over less than a month ago doing Shabbat dinner with us. And that's with her doing an entire move here. You understand a little who your rabbi is, because I don't think you guys know yet. And thank God I can stand here to say, mission accomplished. 2 years, we have a community, we meet up every single week, we thrive. At the beginning, no one knew about each other, and now we all do. And we all take care of each other. We've done suicide prevention. We've done over 100 events. We've done over 40 Shabbats. We've done over 60 outdoor activities. The amount of stuff that just go on and on to thrive, we've done it. The beautiful thing, right, that even now that Shavuot, it's one of the 3 holidays, right, that we all get up and go to Beit HaMikdash. We all walk up, sort of like a holy road trip. Is the right way to call it. And within that road trip, one of the things that every time that we say, especially in the prayers, is don't accept the prayers of the people on their way. Lo titkablu tfilatam shenosei drachim. She always felt bizarre to me. And then at that same pretext, I found another thing bizarre. Someone accidentally kills someone in Jewish law, they go to an ir miklat, a refuge house, right? And they can't leave until the high priest passes away. The mom there the entire time feeds them so they won't pray. What's this phenomenon that's happening here? From there, we learn the power of our intentions, our thoughts, and our prayers. That even right now, when people are walking up, the people that are going up to the site, the temple, they'll pray so it won't rain, right? But you want it to rain because it's winter. So that's literally put inside your prayer because they know how much the power of prayer and thought is. So the power of intention, every time I think of it, the first person that jumps to mind is the rabbi. Because I've seen not only her intention, but by action. Time and time again of how it goes through and how it happens, right? So Shavuot is not just, I guess, cheesecake and staying up all night. Don't get me wrong, give me both. But, so I'm very, very, very lucky to know how much our voice matters and how much it appreciates. Yeah, so even though, funny enough, with all that, I have been called back again. It's a little surreal, and to be honest, my fiance is not a fan of it at all, and I think she's actually probably even one of the people watching the Zoom right now. With that, our team goes time and time again, and it's not easy. I can speak about my friend Noam. He's literally, at times, in our last round, we had to let him out of reserves because he's a business owner. He's a restaurateur and does events. And if he would not been let out, that's it. He would have gone underwater completely, right? The amount of stuff that people put on their entire times, again, it's hard and it's not easy. It really isn't. I wish I could say we do it full-heartedly, we do, but it takes a toll. Everyone dropping, putting pause in your entire life, whatever's going on, and you go for months at a time. No, people are tired. It's done. We've done over 250 days already. That's just my team. And now they're calling us up for another 2-3 months. The amount of extent that it just goes in again and again. Whoever wants, we are, for the first time, our team's been very low-key, under the radar. The second we get in, we didn't ask for anything, we just do it. We are, for the first time, going to try get some gear for ourselves. Whoever wants, I'll give the Rabbi Jessica or leave a QR code or can reach out to me. Could be a part of it. It's all going directly to our officer, so you know exactly where it's going, how it's going, and whoever wants can tell you exactly what we're doing with it. But either way, I just want to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me be here in your home. I know how important community is for me, and I know how important the community builder is for me, the rabbi. So you guys are so lucky. I'm so grateful to have come here to be your part, especially on the first day. So I just want to say thank you so much. Chag Sameach, and remember, our voice matters.
Olive trees that stand in silence upon the hills of time, to hear the voices of the city as bells of evening chime. The folk are stumbling from the temple to call the world to prayer. The shepherd pauses in the valley and pieces everywhere. The water will grow those who thirsted, the ancient markets where your golden sunlight lights the future for all men everywhere. How many songs, how many stories, the snowy hills recall. A river heart my city carries, a lonely ancient road. And far away beyond the desert, 1,000 suns will glow. We shall be going to the Jordan by way of Jericho. My simple voice cannot acclaim thee, to weak the words I choose. Jerusalem, if I forget thee, may run my hand its cunning moves. Yerushalayim shall Zahab, Yerushalayim
Chag Shavuot Sameach. I want to thank Rabbi Mates for offering me this unique honor of reciting a prayer for the Israel Defense Forces, for the hostages that still remain in Gaza, and for one specific hostage who died there many years ago, but whose remains have never been returned to his family for proper burial. Before I recite that prayer, let me turn to the unique interconnection between the three festivals that we celebrate each year: Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot. As you know, Shavuot comes 7 weeks after Pesach. At our Seder, we recited the following words: B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa mi Mitzrayim. In every generation, each of us, individually and collectively, is obligated to see ourselves as if we too had gone out of Egypt. This challenges us to care for all immigrants, no matter the land of their origin, people who feel the need to flee their homeland simply because at one time we, each of us in the sanctuary tonight, we were slaves in the land of Egypt. It also hints at the Jewish obligation of Pidyon Shivuyim, the mitzvah of redeeming the captives, which, after the mitzvah of Pikuach Nefesh, the saving of a human life, is perhaps the single most important of all Jewish obligations. On Shavuot, we need to consider words spoken in a different context than those at Pesach. In the moment of revelation at Mount Sinai, when Moses received on our behalf the 10 Commandments, our people's constitution. I want to combine the words spoken at our Seder with the words spoken at the mountain. B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu omed hayom lifnei Adonai Eloheinu ve'et asher einenu po imanu hayom. In every generation, each of us individually and collectively is obligated to see ourselves as if we too had actually stood before God at Sinai that day, along with those who actually experienced firsthand God's presence in their lives. Whether at our Seder table or at the mountain of revelation, the underlying themes remind us that we were there too, and that we have an obligation to remind ourselves and those around us that those events were not just momentary, rather are they eternal. The obligation to redeem the captive and to accept the laws that govern our lives as Jews are not choices we are asked to make. Rather, are they the duties we are obligated to fulfill. Since that fateful morning of October 7th, 2023, the day after the conclusion of the Sukkot festival, we have all struggled with the senseless violence suffered by those 1,200 souls at the Nova Music Festival as the sun arose that morning, but also with the resulting systematic destruction of Gaza and the tens of thousands of innocent lives still being lost there. For 604 days now, we have referred to those kept captive in Gaza as the hostages, as if they were some amorphous group. But in truth, they were and they are actually individuals, each of them a unique human being, with names and faces and personalities and families and friends. But unless we took the time to make them part of our own lives, of our own family, those names and personalities remained unknown. In Hostages Square in Tel Aviv, it is an easy thing to do. Here in the United States, it's much more difficult to accomplish. Shortly after October 7th, Sheila and I decided to adopt one of those 250 hostages. For almost a full year, Eden Yerushalmi, who marked her 24th birthday in a Hamas tunnel, was a part of our family. Her photograph with us every day, with us at our Shabbat and festival table, with us during services here in this sanctuary or at our New Jersey congregation. Each time the Misha Beirach prayer came to be part of the service, I would take out my iPhone, and Sheila and I would stare at her face as we sang the words. Eden was one of 6 hostages killed by Hamas shortly before they were to be turned over to the IDF in September of 2024. She was, and she is, a part of us. There is a second hostage whose names merits mentioning tonight. One of the soldiers, our guest speaker, Sergeant Aaron Rose's original unit, was Hadar Golden, whose twin brother Sur was serving at the same time in a different unit. On August 1st, 2014, during Operation Protective Edge, 2 hours after Hamas had agreed to a ceasefire, Hamas terrorists ambushed 3 Israeli soldiers from a tunnel located in the basement of a house in Gaza. They killed 2 of the soldiers and wounded the 3rd, Lieutenant Hadar Golden, dragging him into the tunnel. He did not survive that kidnapping. His body remains in captivity in Gaza, even today still held as a bargaining chip by Hamas. Together with his twin brother Sur, the 2 had embroidered on the belts of their rifles the words Oz va'anava, strength and humility, in an effort to define the characteristics of a Jewish fighter who has the courage to use his weapon when needed, but also has the humility to restrain from its use in the service of peace. Tonight, we add our prayers to the prayers of all Israelis and those around the world who pray for the return of Hadar Golden's body, that his family might provide a peaceful burial for him in Israel. In our festival prayer book, in the liturgy of the Yizkor service, which I hope all of you will attend tomorrow and pray with me and with Rabbi Mates, we read the following words. L'chol ish yesh shem, shenatan lo Elohim, v'natnu lo aviv v'imo. Each person has a name. We each have a name given by God and given by our father and mother. Tonight, along with the names of Eden Yerushalmi and Lieutenant Hadar Golden, we seek redemption for those still in captivity in Gaza's tunnels. And we seek healing for our special guest, Sergeant Aaron Rose, and for all those in the IDF, whether still in active service or in its reserve units. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, hanatunim b'tzara uvashivya, ha'omdim bein bayam uvein bayabasha, hamakom yirachem alehem. For all our family of the house of Israel, fellow Jews who face anguish and captivity, whether on sea or on land or in tunnels of darkness, may the divine blessing experienced by our fathers Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and by our mothers Sarah, Rivka, Leah, and Rachel, also be experienced by those who were abducted from the Israel Defense Forces, and by the hostages who were kidnapped and remain in captivity. For we, members of this congregation, Beit Yisrael, are offering each of them a portion of our innermost spiritual strength and sending them our hugs of love and compassion, hoping that they will soon emerge from the darkness and the shadow of death. May they be quickly delivered from their distress and brought back safely to their families' loving embrace. And let us say, Amen.
Please rise.
Everything
Turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Turn, turn, turn.
and the time to every purpose.
Under heaven,
A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to love, a time to reap.
to everything. Turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Turn, turn, turn.
And a time to every purpose.
Under heaven,
A time to build up, a time to bring down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to cast stones together.
to everything. Turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Turn, turn, turn.
And a time to every purpose.
Under heaven,
A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to be free from embracing. To everything,
turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Turn, turn, turn.
and a time to every purpose.
Under heaven,
A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
before our closing blessing, some words of thanks. Ron Wolfson said the three most important things in the service are music, 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 and Kai and Ann have illustrated that tonight. It is our first night working together, and is hopefully to many, many more to come. Thank you to our president, Lois, who's been just incredible in partnership with Isaac and paved the way to me being here this evening. Marion and Sue, who understand my champs and cheesecake concept, so we have time to schmooze and be together after. And hopefully tonight is the first of many that we get to know each other well and good. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Special prayers of chazak v'amatz, courage and strength to Aaron as he goes forth to his next call of duty. And to all of us, may we have a Hag Sameach, and thank you. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.